The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I'm a big fish in a small pond. Got the days free and the nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. Let's play life as famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am.
Hi everybody, it's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. Welcome to our very special edition of the show. I am bursting with joy because these are two of my beautiful, wonderful friends, Darcy Blakesley and Richie Campbell, and they both ran the marathon yesterday. So this is our New York, their medals. This is our New York Marathon show. And so that's why I am so happy, and we're going to tell you a little bit about that in a minute. So as I told our guests that what you're going to see a lot is people will start joining us. So Susie Turgeon, she is Adam Chandler's roommate. However, she's my friend now. I have stolen her. And she is from Boston, so go Pats, go Red Sox. Johnny Tamaro, he was Tony and Tina's wedding. Melba LaRose, hi Melba. Rich Kowick, he's a wonderful photographer. Rory Taggart.
Rory, hi Rory.
From Canada, so we get so many wonderful people. Stephen, pardon me, and you know Stephen comes to do, but Judy Jerome just joined us. Thank you, Judy Jerome. Yay! Okay, so we are going to start our show. First of all, I want to tell you this is Armed. We're part of Armed Radio, so Armed Digital Media. Thank you so very much. Thanks to Joe Rocks, Joe Savino, and Jimmy Bell. Jimmy Bell is our engineer, and Jimmy saves on a weekly basis, if you know what I mean. So thank you, Jimmy. I really appreciate you. Okay, so Meg Gallagher, I went to high school with her. Louise Cormier, I have my glasses off now. I always like to say hi to the people at the top. Irina, my friend Irina, she's a makeup artist. We have to have her on. Carla Ircole, she's a photographer. My cousin Gina Savino, I love Gina Savino. She is a hairdresser. I'm going to be coming by to see you soon. Joe Cangelosi, yay. All right, so this is what I want to start the show off with. So Darcy and I work together as singers, and Richie is a musical director and piano player, band leader, amazing guy, extraordinaire, and we work together many, many times. So what do they have in common? That they've worked with me over the years, and that they ran the New York City Marathon yesterday and have run it at different times. Now, another thing I want to say is I told Darcy, you know, I want to have you on the show, and Richie, I also want to have on the show, and he ran the marathon. So who reached out to who first? Richie, did you reach out to Darcy?
I don't know.
One of you connected with the other.
Okay, so you had Rich had posted, or someone, I don't remember, but I said, hey, I posted in the comments, hey, I'm running too, have a great race, or something like that, and then Rich was so nice. He messaged me.
See?
Do you have any questions? I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. What's your advice? And so we connected there.
Runners sticking together. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Darcy, you finished the race, which is amazing, because a lot of people don't finish the race, and we've talked about that. That would be my biggest fear, not finishing the race, right? So that was your first race yesterday?
That was my very first marathon ever. Yeah.
Yay! First marathon. Oh my God, I've never run a marathon in my life. I ran for the bus.
I don't know why you did it.
And Richie, this is what number was it for you?
So this was my 18th consecutive New York.
18th consecutive. Did not miss 1 year. Big
amazing.
Yay! Richie Campbell.
I've done them all since 1999.
Wow.
And I've done 3 others. I've done London, San Diego, and Boston.
Wow. So Boston's my hometown. You're a California girl.
Yes.
San Diego, and then London. So Richie, which one was the most different from New York of all of those races?
The most different is San Diego because it's much quieter. Boston and London are huge crowds and real big ones. The San Diego one is a much mellower scene.
Oh, really? So is it because the streets are wider?
There's just less people.
Really? Just so less people come out?
Yeah. And the year I did it anyway, a lot of it was in a park where there just aren't a lot of people in the park.
Really?
It's kind of like don't you remember when you went over the bridges?
Yeah.
Went over the bridges. There's nobody.
Like quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
large section of San Diego you're going through there.
Oh, okay.
And just, like when you come up First Avenue or when you go through Brooklyn, 4th Avenue in New York,
Yeah.
people are 3 and 4 deep.
Really?
San Diego would just be like one line of people. It still was great. It still was
And how many miles is San Diego?
all marathons these days are 26.2.
Really?
Yeah, that's the standard marathon length.
Okay, and then they'll call it like a half marathon, a 5K, a 10K, right? They'll call things like that. So, we were talking about this beforehand. So, Darcy, you kind of fell into this quite by accident, right? Richie, you have always been a runner, right?
Yes.
And you knew you wanted to run the race? From the
No.
first time? No?
No, okay, quickly. In 1998, I watched the race with my sister who had a friend running.
Okay.
And her friend's great athlete, did very well. And we met her afterwards for drinks and food. And I couldn't believe how good she looked. She looked like, amazing. Like I thought she would look like death warmed over
Right.
after the marathon. So we're drinking beer, and like on the third beer, my sister says, my brother and I are going to run next year. And I kind of went like, no way, that's not going to happen. Well, we both went into the lottery, and we both got accepted, and we ran the race in 1990.
We were just talking about this. So, Darcy, I want you to tell your story of the lottery.
That is so funny. So my stepmom is a runner, and she did the Boston Marathon in 20. She did it last year, 2016 Boston Marathon. Anyway.
Oh, there's
so
Michael Dion just said hi. Hold on. So want to say hello to Michael Dion.
Michael Dion.
Michael Dion. Eddie Kutu, my friend from high school. Hi, Eddie Kutu. So go ahead.
Yeah, so we all went out to cheer her on because it's a big, exciting marathon, and I love traveling to the East Coast. So I made it a vacation. We cheered her on. I came out here to visit. Anyway, and I ran the 5K, so I'll dabble in jogging. And when she got into New York, a while later, she's telling me about it. She's like, I did the New York City Marathon. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's great. We'll all go. We'll run the 5K. We'll support you. It'll be so much fun. We'll make it a trip again. And she's like, why don't you sign up? And I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to run 26 miles. That doesn't sound good at all. It sounds terrible.
Right.
And she was like, well, I might want to enjoy it. New York City, it's supposed to be one of the funnest with the biggest crowds. She's like, I want to enjoy it. I want to see things. I'll take it slower. And I thought it might be fun. She's like, and she said, I'll go slower. We'll do it together. Wouldn't that be fun to do it together? And you know what? Just sign up for the lottery. She's like, you probably won't get in. And I was like, okay.
So
I signed up for the lottery.
So
Didn't think I would get in.
Let me tell you something quick. So the first one I did was in 1999, and in those days, the way the lottery worked was like this. If you lived in New York, you went to Central Park and got online, and the line went. No, months and months and months before in the spring.
Can you imagine that day? Come on, let me in!
No. So
Let me in. I'll pay you. The Italians would be pulling out their
the
wallets.
line
They would be showing money.
ended to get your form to be in the lottery. You had to get this piece of paper to be in the lottery. You got it at Tavern on the Green, which is at 65th Street.
Right.
The line went up to 110th Street, all the way up Central Park West.
50 blocks.
So you had to get on that line,
Which is
and walk all the way
2.5
up. That's like doing a marathon right there.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
you would go on the line, and then you'd get it. It would be on a Sunday. You'd get your form, Saturday or Sunday. I think it was Sunday. You'd get your form, and what everyone would do is, because you couldn't mail it before midnight on Sunday, you'd go to the 34th Street Penn Station post office, because that was open 24 hours. And you would mail it at 12:01, so it would be the first one at the New York Roadrunners if you wanted to be in the race.
Oh my God. Let me just interrupt for once. See, that's stuff like that I would never know. So Joe Savino just joined us. Hi, Joe. Now, Gina, my cousin Gina said, hi, Rizzo. And you know what? Thank you, Gina, for acknowledging Rizzo. And then Joe has to bust him by saying, Rizzo doesn't talk. Well, you know what? Rizzo does talk. Rizzo. Say, Rizzo, say hi, Gina. Say hi, Gina. Thank you. That was for you, Gina. Thank you, Joe. That's me proving you wrong. Okay.
I just have to say, like, the hearts that went across the
Yes,
screen on
because
Facebook when Rizzo got
Rizzo
like,
is very popular.
that just went wild.
Thank you. And I had to just interrupt. I'm sorry because he said Rizzo doesn't talk. There you go, Gina.
There you
yes,
go.
she does. And she's a she. She's named Rizzo after Betty Rizzo of Greece. She's more like a Frenchie. She's really doesn't have that Rizzo kind of mentality. She is. She's sweet. She's unassuming. She doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Rizzo's a little bit of. I'm more like a Rizzo. So
Love it.
Anyway, so
All right.
Darcy, you did it. You finished.
I did it. I
You
finished.
did it. You finished. Woo! Oh my God. So let's show off our medals. Darcy, let me see your medal. Oh my God. Put that really close to. Oh my God. That is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Look at that.
You can't
And
see.
you had it engraved today, right?
I had it engraved.
Yeah, you did. So where do you go to get that
There you
engraved?
go, everybody.
Oh my God, that is really solid. Darcy Blakely, there it is. And Richie Campbell, let me see your medal.
Mine's not engraved yet, but
When do you go? And where do you go?
I'll get it. I usually go to a place on 100th Street. I know this jeweler. He takes care of me.
Yeah.
And then come in, Richie Campbell comes in every time after he does a thing and I take care of him.
I got a guy.
Right, does he sound like that?
We're in your great. No, they're actually of Asian heritage. So
Oh,
they don't
all
sound
right.
like that.
Oh, I
It's not
love
like
it.
that at all.
But, I have like the Big Dipper going around me here.
Yes, you do. You see, I know. You know what?
Yeah.
People make fun of me because I have Christmas. Those aren't my Christmas lights. Those are just. I just like
It's
lights.
just mood lighting.
I'm one of those, and I actually have lights all in my apartment. I don't have them
Yeah.
on my, but
That's
I
pretty stunning.
like strings of lights. I'm just
Yeah.
one of those people. So you do. You're like the Madonna there. You have like.
Really nice.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. The Catholics, doesn't he look like the Madonna right there in church? Everybody go to church. So anyway, let's check in with some more of our friends because they always check in with us. He's here and he's up in, he might be in New Hampshire now. Douglas was a duplex guy. Cindy Nathan, my friend Cindy has joined us. So yay Cindy, because I've been sharing it on a page afterwards. She was taking a class. So now Steve Gorin has, he said,
I know Steve.
You know Steve, he's Terry Ross's husband. They
Yeah.
finally got married. I mean, after years of living in sin, they finally did the right thing. I mean, Jesus. Terry finally made an honest man out of him. So, okay, so Darcy, you're originally from where?
Southern California.
Southern
I am a
California.
Southern California girl. I lived all over in anywhere from between San Diego and San Francisco. I've lived in many different
Your whole life,
cities, so-
right?
Yep.
Except for,
Except for the 6 years I lived here in New York City.
okay, so what brought
Yeah.
you to New York City?
I was doing a play. The brilliant playwright and one of my dearest friends, Christina Leach, wrote a play. And it was the end of my college career, and it went to college festivals. Anyway, they produced it out here. We got to do it at the Cherry Lane Theater.
Oh my God, great theater.
It was June, I think, of 2003, and I just moved here when we brought it here. And
Did you expect to stay the 6 years, or did you think you were just going to stay for a little while?
I didn't know what to expect. It was
Okay.
open-ended.
I love
Because I just heeded the call. I said, oh, this must be what I'm supposed to be doing now. This is why I'm moving to New York. I'm supposed to move to New York. Okay, great. What's in store for me, New
Isn't
York?
that great when you can do that? But I think when you're in this business, you have to be open to that, right? Especially as an actor, you
Sure.
get a show and it could be in another town.
I'll tell you what I didn't expect to, I didn't expect to perform a cabaret show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was sure years later, but when I moved here just going, okay, I'm supposed to go to New York. What you got for me?
Right.
So, and I ended up doing a lot of different things.
Oh, that show was great.
that I
By the
never
way,
thought.
Darcy did this cabaret show, and I happened to direct it, so I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
It was such a good show, and it was called. I remember that night.
Yeah.
It was called Earth to Darcy, and the reason we named it that was because what Darcy was great at, but I think it's a California thing. Now that I've met more Callies,
Oh.
what Darcy was really good at our job, which used to get very hectic, it still does, at our nighttime singing gig. It would get really hectic. And what Darcy was really good at, she would just detach. She'd disappear. I'd be like, where's Darcy? Has anybody seen Darcy? Where'd she go? And then she would be behind something like this. Just kind of taking it in. And I was like, Darcy, are you okay? She was like, uh-huh,
Yeah.
I'm fine. And what she was doing was grounding
Coping
herself.
mechanism.
Yes, which was a California thing, but New Yorkers or Northeastern people, we don't do that. We're like, what's happening? Somebody get me and whatever. But Darcy was just like, I'm just going to leave the room now. I'm going to take a moment. So that's why one day I think somebody said Earth to Darcy, and that's what we named the show, Earth to Darcy. So, Rich, you're a pretty mellow guy yourself, right? I would put you under the mellow guy category.
Yeah, I think so.
So you were born where, Richie?
Well, I'm a lifelong New Yorker, but I was actually born in Texas because
I didn't know that.
Wow.
my father was in the service. But
Okay, were you
Great.
an army kind of guy, like that you traveled?
no, it just was one of those things. My mother went there and had me and brought me right back to Brooklyn. My family's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
My great-grandparents settled in Brooklyn, and then I went to high school on Long Island.
Oh, all right, great. And did you play? You know, you play predominantly piano, or do you play other instruments?
I do. I play guitar, I play bass.
Okay, somebody asked me, Barry Silver, actually, one of my friends, when he saw your name, was like, "You mean the bassist?" And I was like, I don't know if Richie plays bass. Is there another Rich Campbell that's a bassist?
There's a guy with the same name that has actually played bass for America. You know,
Right, that's what I think he's talking about.
Yeah. Years ago, when my sister first set up my website, she found all over the country there were musicians with the same name, Rich Campbell.
Right.
We could have made a band with just
the Rich Campbell.
professional musicians.
Oh, I love that. So, what if we want to find your website, Richie? What is it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
www.richcampbell.us.
Oh, okay. .us. So just think of us. There it is.
Think of us.
Think of us, and that's .us. So Rich Campbell. So I know you as predominantly playing the piano, which I would put you under the blues category.
Yeah.
Right? You're a blues guy. However, one day I said to you, you said something about George Winston, who I love George Winston. Anybody that knows George Winston knows how beautiful that's piano. What would you put that under? New Age?
Yeah, I think he kind of went under that category.
And I was like, you said when I first started, I wanted to be like the next George Winston. I was like, really? I would never have connected the blues, Rich Campbell that I know, and that George Winston New Age guy. So bridge that for us. Tell me, like as a kid, how did you envision your musicianship, and how did it all come to be?
Wow, you know.
I know it's a loaded question, but to go from George Winston.
It's such a journey, you know. I've been playing music.
See, people want to know. They're all liking it. They're liking it.
Yeah.
I've been playing music professionally since I was a teenager. The first gigs I had when I was in high school, we had an oldies band that did like Sha-Na-Na 50s act, that started getting hired at sock hops, and then this little bar, we were all underage. But this guy liked it, and he started hiring us. I was 15. I was working in the...
And what instrument were you playing?
I actually played guitar in that band.
Okay, see? I didn't know any of this about
And then I went off to school as a piano major.
What did you
I went to SUNY Potsdam, the Crane School of Music.
Okay, great.
And studied piano, and my degree was in music ed. I got out. I was a music teacher, and all the time I was teaching music, I was still playing professionally in clubs and at parties and stuff. By that time, I started doing weddings and wedding bands. And
that's what you do. That's what you do to support yourself. But it's also fun, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, playing music where people, I mean, it's work, but it's the best kind of work.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever been bored when you're up on stage and just like, I really want to be doing this? Ever?
Never.
Then it's time to think about doing something else.
Right. You have to transition into different things.
But some gigs can get a little wearing on you. But
of course,
guys that play Cats for 13 years.
Right in the pit, like Broadway shows. That's true. A lot of musicians will leave a gig after years, and someone will say, "Why would you leave a union gig? That was such a great gig." Because you're right. You get tired playing the same old thing over and see. Look at all the lights. So people are identifying with that.
So musicians and professional musicians know that they have to make it new each night. That's the way it works. They have to bring their joy of music and creativity to it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's such a wonderful. Look, you know what? We've talked about this before. As a musician, you may not get rich in a lifetime, but you will always want to go to work. It's just like the most unbelievable feeling. And if you get rich, good for you.
Yeah.
We have rich.
Hey.
So, Darcy, do you feel like... So I've known you as a singer, and I know you're an actress. I don't know you as much as an actress. I know you more as a singer. Yeah. But now you're doing voiceovers, right?
Yes, I found my way into voiceover.
Go ahead. Tell me. That's not easy to do.
No, I know. A friend of mine, I was working in a restaurant, and a friend of mine said he was the sound engineer at this studio, and he's like, you should come audit a class. They do these animation, voiceover classes. And I was like, okay, come audit that. Sounds fun. And it was at the Voiceover Connection in Burbank, and I thought, I went and audited it, and I thought it would look like a blast, so I signed up for a class. And it just grew from there. And I learned all about the voiceover business. I got behind the booth and practiced. I worked on all different kinds of copy, worked with some different teachers, learned
that really
learned a lot of stuff.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you think it's so easy, but it's not.
No.
It's not.
You can't just do it.
Do you, before you go into a voiceover audition, are you one of these people that takes copy? Copy, by the way, if you don't know what that is the paper that you will get that will have words on it, what you have to read and audition with. So it's called copy. So are you someone that takes copy and dissects it line for line? Because sometimes I'll go and pick up copy at an audition, and someone else has like put their marks on it and beats, and I'll tend to do that too. Do you do that?
You know, it honestly depends on what I right now I do mostly or all commercial voiceover. So it kind of depends what they're looking for and what the product is and who my audience is. And
okay,
yeah. So if it's like,
so do you determine who your audience is in your head before you do it?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking. I think the audience. I think when I say the audience is who is are they looking to sell this product to?
Right.
And if it's long copy, I'll want to make a few marks on it. Normally, I do it mentally though.
Okay, I think that's braver. I
know, right? No, I should. At home, I mark it up. At home, I mark it up. At home, it's 3 lines. I highlight my lines at home. I mark it up. Yeah.
You know what? One of the things that I learned in some of the commercial classes I took, and it's so, look, I'm a big ham. I've been a big ham my whole life, but I cannot put in enough of a plug for taking classes.
Mm-hmm.
The things that you learn, even just from watching other people, is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I loved that I learned in classes was pick someone you're talking to. So when you are auditioning,
always
don't just like, that was something that I was like, really? Like, what? But it helps so much. So I have certain people that I talk to when I'm doing an audition. You have to just look into a camera most of the time, and it's very difficult to like find your place. But if you pick someone that you're talking to, it helps every time.
You got to tell us who you talk to?
Sometimes I pick, Kurt at work?
Yeah!
Kurt Kelly?
Yeah, Kurt Kelly.
I don't even know if I ever told you this, Kurt. I don't know if you're listening, but sometimes I talk to Kurt. Because Kurt is one of my friends that we've been friends for 20 years, and I can yell at Kurt, and he can yell at me, but we can stay friends forever. So, I said, what the hell are you thinking about? Like, that's ridiculous. And he can say, you're ridiculous. And so I can get that energy of that kind of thing up.
Yeah.
And as you guys know, with some of my commercials, one of the things that I end up playing is like a bitchy housewife or an angry customer. So my master's in emasculation has worked really, really well. Master's in emasculation with a minor in cock blocking. That's me. So that's worked out really great. So sometimes I talk to Kurt.
Great.
Do you do that? Do you pick a certain person?
Yeah, so sometimes if I'm giving advice, I will either do it to one of my nieces or nephews, my brother Mike,
okay.
and I'll literally say his name. I'll be like, Mike, and I go into the
Really?
copy. Yeah, or if I want to tell, if it's like whatever, just depending on what the product is and who you're selling to, like I'll pick my best friend. They always say, pick someone close to you.
Right,
pick
right,
someone
right.
that you would just be talking to, like, I could be talking to you,
Yeah.
Maria.
Oh, that's
I came
great.
across this amazing thing the other day. I want to tell you all about it. And that's for like really, if they want, a lot of it is,
Intimate.
conversational.
Conversational, right.
So it really helps for the conversational, but it helps for anything because it adds, you don't know it adds a personal connection.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't sound like a performance.
And the thing is, like right now we're Facebook Live, right? However, there's so many people that are listening to us just on the radio right now. So we're talking to each other because we are having a conversation, and that's what it sounds like. But if you were to look at a soundboard, and you would see different levels happening because our voices are changing. They're getting warmer. We're trying, and we're not intentionally trying to make a point. We're just talking to each other.
Right.
But so it does help very much.
Absolutely. You can tell the difference. It's subtle, and you may not be able to tell, but the
Right.
sound engineer can tell, and the listeners can tell.
Right. And it's also, sometimes you like even pets, right? Like sometimes I'll see a dog in my neighborhood and someone is speaking to it in Spanish, and I think, wow, that dog speaks Spanish, or that dog speaks English or Italian. My mother used to talk to is Italian. But what the dog is hearing is a tone. It's an inflection.
Right.
It feels fear or warmth or love or so it's things like that. Same thing with voices.
It's the
Right?
same thing, yeah. And and that's very early on you learn that in acting classes too.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, another
Always
thing that
pick
I
someone
don't
you're
know if you do, because you do like character voices too? You ever asked to do that?
Not professionally, no. But,
Okay.
you know, it's in,
But-
in classes and stuff that I'm working towards.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned is a trick sometimes, like if people will ask me for, okay, give me 3 different reads on this.
Oh,
They do that, right?
yes.
One of the tricks for me is I do different characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I will pick like someone that I know from way back. I won't say her name, but she talks like this, and sometimes she sounds like that.
I know who it is.
So right, so we don't have to say, but you know, and so I would just go
Really
into that
good.
voice if I'm going to do like
Yeah.
I had an audition for like something that needed to sound like The Simpsons. So it was an Allstate commercial, but it was a Simpson character,
Oh,
and she was an Allstate agent. So I
Perfect.
chose that voice,
perfect.
and it just is like it's crazy how just doing an impression of somebody you know.
Yes.
It's, yeah.
That's-
If I have to be stern, I pick my friend Rose Keogh. She was the wardrobe person at Tony Tina's wedding. She always would say to me, Maria, quickly and quietly. She always had a way of like snapping me and, so it's like, it's amazing how you can pick someone, right?
Yes.
So now, Richie, I want to go back to you. Now, one of the other things that I want to talk about is, so we are creative people. We just talked about some of the stuff we do. Now, the day-to-day life, right? So look at all the hearts that people are sending us. Thank you, everybody. Let's check in for a second. And then I want to talk to Richie about his romantic life. So Michael Dion, Kristen Leach. Hi, everybody.
Christina Leach.
Christina Leach.
Yeah, she's the reason I moved here in the first place.
What? So tell us about that.
She's the playwright of the play.
Oh my God, I love Rizzo so much. She loves Rizzo.
She likes the doggies.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you, Christina. I hope you'll be my Facebook friend. Maybe we can friend each other. I want to take your friend now too.
Take her.
You can have some of my friends too. We just like trade friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so Richie, Billy Malcolm. Billy Malcolm is my web designer, and one of my buddies who I adore. He's so handsome. Billy Malcolm. If you need a website, go to my website mariagentili.com and look under Webmaster. Webmaster is Billy Malcolm. He is my webmaster guy. I love him, and he does beautiful work. Which reminds me, we have to talk because we have to link this. What's the story with Maria to it? Okay, Richie. So first of all, you have a beautiful wife. We love Jackie. You have to meet
Who's
Jackie.
a playwright
Who's a playwright
and a screenwriter.
and a screenwriter, and she writes for television, right, as well. And Darcy, what did you say when I told you that about her being a TV writer?
Oh, a female writing for TV is like there's a very low percentage of women in the writers' rooms in writing and for entertainment, TV and film. So that's amazing. I'm very impressed, and I would love to hear all about her experience doing it and everything about
She's
it, how
so
she got into it, what it's like. I'm like, that's awesome.
It's impressive, right? So and
Very
she's cool as a
impressive.
cucumber too, isn't she, Richie? You guys are both cool as cucumbers. Who loses their temper first?
I don't think Jackie would say that, but she handles it well. She handles it well.
Yeah, Jackie's great. So what is she working on right now?
She's on The Good Fight, the sequel
Wow.
to The Good Wife on whatever it's on cable.
How cool is that?
On that, yeah. I go to Greenpoint every day and
Wow. I remember a couple years back, I was in Boston visiting my nieces, and then you were on an episode of Law and Order. Was it Law and Order?
Yeah, Law and Order Criminal Intent.
And Jackie was writing for that show at the time, right?
She was writing for the show, so there was the
I love
whole
this.
that show happened to be Joan Jett got killed on that show.
Oh my God! So it was a rock and roll episode,
Joan
right?
Jett was murdered. She was a talk show host.
Oh,
and,
no.
And then among the suspects were this singer, so they needed a background band. So I got Jackie put my name in. I got hired. Got a friend of mine in, and we were the band on that episode.
And my sister kind of fell in love with you. Jackie, don't be mad, but my sister watched that show and she was like, "Oh my God, he's so cute." So my sister's married, and so it's not a big deal. But she did have such a crush on you, Richie. For many years, she would ask me about it. So and Richie,
Well, hi, sister.
and you're a rock and roll guy, but don't people always say, "Hey, you look like"?
Yes, I get it often. I get the old Aerosmith a lot.
Right. Right? So he does kind of look like Steven, but much better looking. I have to
I'm
say.
taller.
Is that what it is? Yeah, much better looking. So he's our Steven Tyler lookalike.
It's fine because I think he's really talented. So.
Yeah. He is. Oh, we love. Are you kidding
He's
me?
awesome.
So how did you guys meet?
My wife and I are
Yes. No, you and I, we know how we met.
Check it out, we met at
slept
the bar.
together,
We met at the
together.
dive bar on the Upper West Side.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
And you knew that you were both creative people? You felt that?
Found that out.
And do you find that works better than being with a person that's not in the creative business? Or do you find that sometimes that's difficult? Or?
No, I think it's good. I think we both understand. I think it helps.
And you're married, right?
Yeah, we got married about 5 years ago, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you think it helps? Okay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that don't want to date, actors don't want to date other actors, singers don't want to date other singers.
Well, I think, that's a real close thing. Like maybe if it was two playwrights
Right,
or
right.
two musicians, maybe. But even that should work. But, we're in different, both in creative, but in different fields. So it's not so much. Because I think two actors might be competitive. Like one's getting gigs and the other one's not getting gigs.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, it still can work that way. But
And have you ever had to go away for long stretches of time, or Jackie go away?
And since we've met, Jackie's had to go away. But we worked it out.
Mostly to LA, yeah.
She's in LA, yeah.
And
the work is there.
But and that must be hard.
It was hard, and
But you made it work. I remember when that was going on.
yeah.
And then you come back together again, which is so nice. So sometimes that happens in this business. If you're not in this business, that is one of the things that you have to be prepared for when you're in a relationship with someone that is creative, works in the arts. Sometimes people go on cruise ships for months at a time. Sometimes people get shows in other cities, and they're on tour, and they're traveling all through the country. These are some of the challenges that people come across, right?
Yeah, years ago I toured. I toured with an act called the Triplets. We opened for the band Chicago.
Wow, I love
We did
Chicago.
some really big venues. It was a lot of fun, and
I might have been at some of those concerts before,
but you're away. I mean, you're living in a bus. You're going hotel to hotel. That part of the life can be tough. But also, the people back home, they're happy you're doing it, but they kind of forget about you a little bit, especially the people hiring.
Wow,
If you're ever on the road, stay in touch with people back home as much as you can.
Wow, that's
Because
really nice. Yeah.
like,
Look at people are all the hearts. Look at that. People
it's
are agreeing with you.
It's like, like if someone needs a piano player this Friday, they're like, I might have just come home, but they're like, oh, Richie Campbell's still on the road,
Right,
I'll be home in a couple months. They're not thinking of you, You got to let everybody know. I'll be home, November 31st. There is no November 31st. I'll be home November 30th, and let them know you'll be home for, whatever gigs are coming around.
Right. Okay, well, that's really, really good advice.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the race, yesterday's race. So, Richie asked, yes, listen, if I had a medal, I was thinking of just finding a medal somewhere and wearing one, because I want to be part of this too. Thank you. Oh, wow. I didn't earn this, but thank you, Richie, just for letting me
That's
wear
to
it.
inspire you so you'll run next year.
It looks good on you, Maria.
I'm never going to be running this race. Let me tell you something. As a kid, I was a runner for sure. I mean, I was very athletic as a kid, but over the years, not so much. I ran for the bus today. I did, and I made it.
Well, there's your medal.
You know what I'm really good at?
I
Getting
ran
the bus to stop. Like, stop! What the hell are you doing? I'm good at yelling.
I ran for the train today, and it hurt a lot.
Oh, I can imagine. Like Darcy yesterday.
So,
I don't want to take you out. Darcy, so tell me. I want to know. It was your first race.
Yes.
What you told me that Brooklyn was the greatest.
It was the greatest.
And why?
Because I lived there, so I had a personal connection to certain areas of it, and I loved it. I loved living there, and it was the biggest crowd because that was earlier on. So, but there was a band playing on every few every couple of blocks or a couple of miles or something.
Really?
There's bands all over, and then tons of people with signs and kids. Like. Parents have their kids out there, and the kids got their hands out, and they're like,
they high-five you?
High-five you the whole way, and
that
people
would be
offering
beautiful.
you oranges and handing out gum. People with packs of gum, if you want like gum and drinks and stuff.
Did you take stuff on the way? Or do they also run alongside you with little water cups and stuff?
No, there are water stations so frequent on the
now,
course that you don't need
or
it.
do you just grab something and keep running? I've never done this.
Yeah, a couple times I stopped. A couple times I just kept going, and you could just take a little sip and toss it, or you can stop and take a minute. And you have a lot of stuff on you. Like I didn't know this before I started training, but you have you can take things like gels and cubes, which are just like little, I don't know what you call them, but they're like sugar packets, but they also have good things for you. A little caffeine helps, and they have...
Really?
Yeah.
And they're just little shots of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, yeah, and they're
How cool.
So you kind of load up with that kind of stuff. I had like this little belt on with.
Wow, you were locked and loaded.
I was locked and loaded.
I like
Absolutely.
that.
All
Is that
50,000
true?
people are. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Except for the elites. The elites have it on
What does that
tables.
mean, the elite?
Those really, really fast people.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, they're called the elites.
The
Yes.
elites, yeah.
All right, so Richie,
Yeah.
you were telling me that the female winner is from Massachusetts?
Yeah, Shalane Flanagan.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
She's the first
awesome.
American.
Now that's an Irish name if I ever heard one.
Right?
She's the first American woman to win in 40 years. Yeah, it was really very special year.
Wow, that is really cool. So Joe Rocks, we had a Boston girl there winning the marathon yesterday. That's really, really cool. And you know what, Darcy, I want to ask you. You said that was you loved Brooklyn. What
Yes,
was
so that was the
most
first part.
difficult? What was there ever a part where you're like, I just want to stop doing? I don't want to do this.
No, there was never a part where I just wanted to stop because
Really?
it never dawned on me that I wouldn't finish.
Oh, good
But
for you.
I didn't know how I was going to finish.
Oh,
So
that's
that was
interesting.
a weird space to be in. I was certainly not going to stop. I was going to finish. How that was going to happen, I had no clue.
Okay.
It was really, really weird. So I think those times was really helpful to have my stepmom with me.
Did she run alongside you?
She ran with me. And she's fast. She slowed down.
Wow.
She cheered me
Are you
on.
kidding me? What's her name?
Her name's Kathy.
Kathy what? Let's
Blakeslee.
Kathy Blakeslee. Shout out
Kathy
for being
Blakeslee's
an amazing
amazing.
stepmom and running alongside her.
She is amazing. I gotta say, she's the person who thinks I can do all these things that I would never think I could do. I never would have,
Oh, that's
just little things. Like she's like, you need to audition for this. It wasn't The Voice, but it was like X Factor or something. Yeah, you should totally audition for that. She completely believes in me, and I'm like, why would I audition for that? Like, what are you talking about? I'm not gonna do it. I went and did it because she was like, let's go, and she went with me. We went and did it. And so with the marathon, she's like, you can do that. And I'm like, why would I do a marathon? That sounds awful. She's like, no, you can do
so
it.
your
It'll be good.
stepmom. What would her?
I'm just so gullible.
So she's a really fast runner, though, right?
She's very fast.
And she ran alongside you on your first marathon.
Yeah.
Amazing! I'm so impressed by that.
Yeah.
What a beautiful, compassionate,
really cool.
wonderful thing to do.
Yeah.
Happy Blakeslee!
Really cool.
Yay!
She was awesome.
Oh my God.
I don't know how I would have done it without her.
So-
Not sure how
so-
that would have.
So what was the hardest mile?
So I don't know exactly what the hardest mile was, but it's obviously sometime after 18 and 20
Okay.
because everything just hurts and there's no way to get comfortable. You stop to walk, doesn't help. Keep running, still uncomfortable.
You must cramp up, right?
I didn't get any cramps.
Wow.
I just it just hurts. Your feet are pissed
Yeah.
and your body's like, what are you doing? But nothing ever said, like I never hit a wall, nothing ever said, oh no, I can't do it. Nothing ever said that. It was just like, how do I get comfortable? How do I get comfortable? And it was footstep by footstep by footstep by footstep by footstep by footstep.
Amazing.
By foot plan.
That everybody is like all the wows. Thank you,
Well, you know,
everybody.
Darcy, I think
Tell me.
from
Dímelo.
Yeah.
the good news is you didn't hit a hard wall, but
Right.
what you explained is you kind of hit a mini wall.
I did.
Between 17 and 22, there's a whole lot of information about what happens in
Well,
your
what does
biology.
happen? Tell me what
Yeah,
happens.
it's fascinating.
You've kind of burnt everything. You've kind of gone through all your energy, and supposedly your body starts burning fat at that point.
Right.
I'm
and
still not going to run. I'm not doing it. I could use some fat burning, but I can't do it.
But even that, to be honest, they're even wondering if that's really what happens. But
Right.
But between 17 and 22 miles is when things change and it can become really, really hard.
Yeah.
And that's when you have to stay mentally focused.
Yeah, it was really great. At one point, it was between those miles, like I said, I don't know, 18 to 20 something, where I was like yawning, and
Yawning,
she's like,
really?
"Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just like tired. I don't want to lay down in the middle of the road and go to sleep. I'm
Don't
not
you
going
see
to
you
do
doing
it."
that?
But on
Right?
top of that,
So
go ahead.
she goes, take a gel.
Take a gel. Okay, she knew what to
Yeah.
say.
She knew to do, and I was like, okay.
Now, before I forget this, I want to talk about, which you did something was it 5 years ago that we had Hurricane Sandy? Happened. I remember this because you and I remember this specifically. So Hurricane Sandy happened, and we as New Yorkers, were you living here?
No, I wasn't.
Judy Jerome's in the
Judy's-
audience.
Judy's in
She's
New
going to be on our
York.
show a little bit down the line. Judy, were you living here? Yes, okay. So what happened was, as people that don't know across the country and across our other countries that we broadcast to, is we had a tremendous hurricane, and the city was flooded, things were destroyed, the subways were flooded, the city was frozen pretty much. The subways weren't working, didn't have any lights or things like that, and it happened to fall right before the marathon. So they canceled the marathon because they didn't feel it was right to have some people run and other people had nothing. Now, what happened was there was people coming in from all over the world that flew here, saved their life savings, whatever it was. People from Australia, people from China, people from Nigeria, people from everywhere were coming here to run, and they couldn't run. So it was this awful thing. And I remember saying, "Oh, Richie, I'm so sorry that this happened." And you know what Richie did? He did an amazing thing. You and a bunch of other runners. Tell them what you did, Richie, because I thought this was such a beautiful thing.
So when they canceled the marathon, we were all, what? And it made sense because Maria just mentioned how bad the city was, but there are areas of Brooklyn especially and Staten Island that really, people died, houses destroyed. It was really bad in some neighborhoods. I think worse than a lot of people still realize, especially in Staten Island. So someone on Facebook had the idea, hey runners, we can't run. Let's meet at the ferry the way we would have done.
Staten Island Ferry.
Go to Staten Island. Bring a backpack full of things that people could use. Anything they might need.
I'm getting chills already.
Food, water, cleaning supplies. Anything that someone having gone through a hurricane and in need might need. I went to the ferry, there was 1,000 people. It was unbelievable.
1,000 runners with backpacks on and supplies.
Filled with backpacks. I actually, the night before, made a sign that said, marathon canceled, runner going to Staten Island. Any donations will be accepted.
Yep.
And in a half an hour, I had more than I could carry.
Right, I met up with you. Yep, everybody, we were all running. I mean, not running. I wasn't running. I drove there, I think.
To be clear.
So, right, to be very clear.
So just to kind of keep a hint of the whole marathon thing, so the organizers had us take the ferry across the Staten Island, and then they assigned us neighborhoods to run to with our backpacks. So we went from the ferry about 6 miles in, I think it was called New Dorp.
Yes, I know New Dorp.
Down by the water, it was, I couldn't believe it. I mean, there were, boats 4 blocks from the water where they shouldn't be. There were, the first line of houses were just destroyed, decimated. I mean, it was really, really, really bad there. So, once we got there, it was just, hey, what do you need? People were taking out some old furniture. You gave them a hand. People were cleaning. Hey, I got a little Windex here. Hey, can you use some soup? What can you? So we all got, they were so happy, and it made us feel good. But it was necessary. It was needed. That was really.
But
bad.
Isn't that a typical New York thing that New Yorkers really do come together like that? But these were people from all over the world.
Yeah,
that came and they decided, you know what? I'm here. I spent the money. I'm going to help out. It was such a beautiful. I wish we had. Okay, I was just going to say I wish we had it, but we do have it. We just have to tap into it. So we have the potential to do that as human beings. There are a lot of things that we disagree on. God knows we disagree on a lot. But what we can agree on is that we are all people that need each other at different times. And what we should really do is we should stop, take a minute, take a breath, and say, how can I be of service? Instead of what do I need? Mm-hmm. How can I be of service today? Who needs me and what can I do? Even if somebody, you don't see eye to eye on something, those are really the people that you should kind of reach out to the most. Yeah. Because that's where, I know for me, I do that. There are many people I don't even want to talk to. But what I do is I really pray about it and say, I'm going to really try to feel compassion for this human being. And it makes my day better and my life easier. So I thought that was a beautiful story, Richie. It always gives me chills when I think about that.
What you just said was so beautiful.
Yeah. No, but it's true. I think about that all the time.
I'm so glad you said what you just said.
And sometimes what it really is behind all this is fear. There are really only two things in life. Mm-hmm. Love and fear. That's what everything stems from.
Greatest motivators, right?
Right? Mm-hmm. And so many times we're on opposite sides because we're really just afraid of each other. Mm-hmm. But if we just stop and say, what do we have in common? We have so much in common. Which brings me to the segment of the show called, Go Ahead, Keep Eating.
Yes.
This is Joe Rox's favorite part of my show. He sometimes will bust him on me and ask me what I'm cooking. Joe, of course, Joe Rox is the big cheese at Armed Radio, and I just happen to know him personally. But okay, so tonight, what did I make? Holy mackerel, shrimp scampi, one of my favorite dishes, and it. Oh my God, it smells delicious. So right after the show, I'm going to heat up the shrimp scampi. We have a delicious salad. I love shrimp scampi, but I won't just make it for myself. I have to make a huge batch of it. And I asked everybody if they, not everybody likes everything, guys. But that is something we have in common, food. I bet you anything that if we just put our ridiculous stuff down, we just stopped and asked each other, what do you want? What do you feel like eating? What do you feel like eating? I am willing to cook all the time. So if you're in a bad mood, come to my house. I'll cook for you and tell you to, and then we will all get along. All right, Aubrey Peterson joined us. Chris DePiero. You know Chris DePiero?
Yeah. He shot my show.
Yes, he shot. Well, he didn't shoot your show. He
filmed it.
He filmed it, right. Chris DePiero is an amazing friend of mine. He's a filmmaker. Darcy is very, very, very cute. Someone's flirting.
Chris? Hey.
Chris is flirting with Darcy. I know Chris. He's flirting with you right now. Chris is very cute. He made the funniest movie recently, and he's making a sequel to it.
He's so funny. I was thinking during the marathon, people said, put your name on your shirt. You told me that, too. And, I didn't, but I wish I had. But I thought of different funny shirts I should have worn, and one of them was I'm single, or call me.
Really?
Because
Chris,
I am.
Thank you. All right, listen, don't tempt Chris, because he is a great, proactive guy about that. Colin Maxwell checked in. There's Christina Leach again.
Yep.
Darcy, Isaac is watching.
Yeah, Isaac is my buddy. Isaac's her son, and my buddy
yay.
Isaac, so I gotta say, hey, Isaac.
Hi. Charles Caselli joined us. Neil Parrish. Hi, Neil. Dom Giovanni was on our show last week. Oh my God, Dom Giovanni. Did you see last week's show? It was hysterical. Neil, we got to get you on the show as well. So let me see. We have about 12 minutes left to our show. Wow. So, I know, it flies by. All right, so one of the things I want to do, I want to shout out to my friend Edie Gershman. Edie is someone that I just recently met, and we are fast friends. So I'm going into my own little business, selling beautiful skincare that I love. I am not someone that will push something I don't believe in, but I really love this product. It's called Rodan and Fields. It's the doctors, the dermatologists that created Proactive. And they have this amazing skin line for everybody else now, And so I just want to shout out to Edie, who gave me my first glow pack here, and I was sold. So I'm going to be doing that. I'll tell you guys a little more about that in different promos. But I'm going to be selling some gorgeous Rodan and Fields stuff. I'm going to be going to Boston. I'm going to be going to Pennsylvania to visit some friends. And I might even go to Wisconsin and see Katie Cass and with my little Rodan and Fields stuff. So that's a shout out to Edie, because I know she's watching tonight. She was nice enough to share it on her page and all that stuff. So Darcy... your brother Mike was here yesterday?
That's right.
He's from LA?
Brother Mike, yeah.
He's very cute.
Orange County, California, to be more specific.
Okay. So he was visiting. He did not run, though, right?
No, he ran the 5K.
Oh, he did?
So my dad and my brother both ran the 5K.
So how does that work? That happens before the race?
Yeah, that's on...
a day or two.
It was, it's that Friday or Saturday, I don't remember, but
Judy says hello. Judy Mesa.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, with lots of... Danny McCormick, Leo Rodriguez... Okay, Leo, you got to come on the show. We got to work it out. So they run the 5K first.
Yeah.
Your dad and your brother.
And my brother ran that
and
one.
then your stepmother and you went. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you guys had pasta on Friday, right?
Yeah, we had pasta at one of your favorite restaurants, and it was great. It was my stepmom's birthday, so it's
her
birthday. Then she ran.
What,
so what did you do for your birthday?
As well?
They live in Orange County.
Next time I come to LA, I'd love to meet you.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I would love that.
Oh my God,
I would love that.
So Richie. So you just always plan on running the marathon again, right? You're just one of those people, or do you ever?
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Say, maybe not this year. Has that ever happened? Any year where you were like, I don't know.
I think at mile 18 every year. I think that.
I'd like to say, how does this work? How do you? What do you think?
Well, Darcy, now
because I'm curious.
You did one, and do you want to do one again? Right today, a couple of days later, you're like, definitely never again. Or are you know what, about it? I think about it.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay, great.
And I can tell you why, but I kind of want to hear what.
Richie, tell me, why?
Well, I'm friendly with some runners that are extraordinary. I know a man in his 70s who's run over 100 marathons.
What?
Yeah.
I was invited because I've done the last 18 to this event in town around the green on Friday before the marathon.
Wow.
And I happened to sit next to a gentleman who ran Sunday. It was his 72nd birthday, and it was his 44th New York City marathon.
Unbelievable.
So just when you think, oh yeah, I've done a whole bunch, forget it. I'm not even close. I'm not even close to some of these books. So
isn't that amazing? And
I run as long as I can do it, and feel fit enough to do it,
You know, that was my mother's favorite saying. She used to say, with an accent, of course, as long as I can do, I do. And that's what she lives her life.
Absolutely. I'm like, oh wow, my legs are allowing me to do this. Like during training, I gotta say, training is one of the biggest gifts. Training for this was a really interesting experience and wonderful experience. Training your brain, training your body, finding out things that you never knew, and so.
What was your longest run, Doris, in training?
20 miles.
See,
so
that's
is that
crazy.
how it goes?
Waking up in the morning and then running 20 miles, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Well, 20 miles is from here down to the village and then back.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, that's 20 miles. I mean, I can't imagine,
But it's beautiful. You run all along the Hudson.
I know. No, it's true.
I would love running here.
I ride a motorcycle. I love, to me, it's not like running, but I mean, I love that peaceful, you're by yourself, it's very spiritual, and you just, you're in your own head, and you're just free. And I can imagine that running feels like that, right? There's a freedom to it, and a spirituality to it that you can't share with anybody else, really.
Where did you run mostly in your training? Along the beach, in a park?
In a park. And then some treadmill because we had really hot weather in Southern California this summer.
Oh, that's right.
Summer training was tough.
That's
and,
right.
I'm working nights and then having to get up super early before it gets too hot, but sometimes I don't make it early enough, and so
of course.
So some treadmill, which was tricky. I had to learn how to make myself stay on a treadmill.
Yeah, that must be boring.
An hour and a half. It's really boring. And one time I watched your show, Maria.
You did?
Yeah, I had
on
the one. Yeah, the episode. Yeah, it was a long run, and you had Greg Schlotthauer and Michael Woolley on.
Schlotthauer.
Yes. And I had it up watching it, and I was laughing out loud. I'm on the treadmill laughing so loud because I don't care.
I loved
because I felt like I was there with you guys because I knew you all. It was just so great.
It was the LA show, Darcy. That's right. You popped in. I love that.
It was so great.
Michael Woolley and Greg Schlotthauer.
Yeah.
Greg is so great. Now, speaking of crazy miles, Greg Schlotthauer will ride his bike for 20 miles. Like, he rides to Connecticut. How far is Connecticut from here? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, he lived in LA without a car, and no one does that. That is not what you do.
Yeah, I guess not.
He rode
right?
everywhere.
That's why he's so fit.
Yeah, and he saw a lot of LA that I'll never see, we'll never see, being that close to everything, being on a bike, because we're in cars.
All right, so I want to take this time to tell you about the show and the radio station and how you can check in every week. Okay, so of course, my name is Maria Gentile. And of course you can, I have a public Facebook page, so you can friend me or just come and see me and check this out, Facebook Live every week. However, armeddigitalmedia.com is how you can plug in on your computer and listen to the show live, which is great because you can always go back to the Facebook Live thing, which we saved this video. You can watch it later, but it's really cool if you listen to it also live. That's really cool, and armeddigitalmedia.com. And now, let's say I love podcasts. I'm a big fan of podcasts, as I know you are,
oh my gosh, huge.
Richie, you listen to podcasts?
Not so much, but Jackie does.
Okay.
Podcast fan.
All right, so there's this wonderful podcast house called Spreaker, SPREAKER.com, and it houses all these amazing podcasts. Go to Spreaker.com, type in Armed Radio, which is, the radio station that we come through, and then type in What's the Story with Maria. And you can try to just put What's the Story, but sometimes it doesn't always come up. Once you find What's the Story with Maria, then you just put it under favorites. Please do. We have 16 shows archived, and this will be episode 17. So 17 is a good number. And you can usually listen to it about 12 hours afterwards. And I want to thank Jimmy Bell. Jimmy Bell is our engineer, produces the show.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy. He's in New Hampshire. And he's the guy that puts all this stuff, condenses it all, and then is running like all these crazy shows, one after another. Thank you, Jimmy. And then puts it on Spreaker. And I always so appreciate you. So thank you, Jimmy Bell. Thank you, Joe Rocks from Night Talk with Joe Rocks. That's a really funny show on Thursday nights. Joe Rocks is the man. Because I'm sick of being the man, Joe, personally. So please be the man this week. So we want to shout out to those guys. And if you please come and support us. I started a Facebook page for What's the Story with Maria. So if you want to like the page, that would be wonderful. And I'll send you all kinds of stuff. So Darcy, what are you working on now that you want to tell people about? We got about 2 minutes left. What's something that... Okay, so you know what? We're off the air. However, that was it. But wait, we're still on Facebook Live. So tell people what you're working on right now, and then we'll... something that we should look
You're
at.
still live. You got to wrap it up, though.
Oh, all right,
okay.
Jimmy.
Well,
thank you so much.
I'm just doing my thing, and I'm working on loving all my friends and family.
All right, so Jimmy, thank you so much. Richie Campbell is here. Thank you, Judy Jerome in the studio audience. Judy's going to be on with two of her amazing writer friends, and they're working on a show, and it's great. I saw the Sizzler for it. So thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, everybody,
Thank you.
and our Arm Radio family, and we will see you next week. Love ya.